Well, hi YouTubers, and yes, it has been a long time. I think the last video I did was probably this time last year. So we're now in February, and end of February 2020, and I still have been so busy because of change of career and lots of other things happening that I still haven't managed to cover these bus bars, but I will get that done this summer. That little box there is a lithium profile charger. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit more. So you can see that's a 24 volt 45 amp charger that's connected to the grid. That's going inside the house and connecting, and I've got that on a timer which charges up between 12:30 and 4:30 in the morning at the cheap rate of electricity. So that's what I now use in the winter. So that's a kind of keeps the batteries charged up. Obviously the inverter is also connected to the grid as well, so if that one fails, the smaller one, the larger one will cut in anyway. So I've got a sort of fail-safe system there, and that will charge the batteries up, and it's got an automatic cut off anyway, so the Bluetooth and the Victron relays are also set up to cut off. So yeah, I've got probably 3 or 4 systems there. Obviously it's all protected, and all the charge controllers are basically programmed so that they can't overcharge. They'll only charge up to 24.6, I think it is. Yeah, 24.6, which leaves a headroom I think of 25.2, which they're fully charged, if I remember. This is all off the top of my head. Yeah, so there we go. Not much to say really. The system's fully automated, been running a whole year. Oh yeah, I guess you'd probably want to see what the Tesla cells are doing after a year. So there's one there which is slightly down by 0.1 of a millivolt, but they're all reading generally 3.6 volts. I think if I disattach that and reattach that, I've got to probably get a different reading again. I haven't found these to be the most reliable BMSs, but it certainly shows that they're fairly well passively balancing still. No issues at all. I've got them insulated in those boxes there, so that's about it. It's yeah, the system's running really well. I haven't really done anything to it. I've been so busy with other things, I've kind of just left it on its own, but I'm very pleased with it. I think if I was to start from scratch again with this kind of design system, I would probably do a schematic and wiring diagram now that I know what I'm using, and obviously that's where you can benefit from my experiences as well as loads of others that have been putting their videos online, is that you can now get a sense of what's achievable and what will work long term, and yeah, you can then set all your wiring up, so hopefully it could be a bit neater and get your system up and running. So this MPPT ePIVA, yes, it's one of the ones which has got a larger voltage input. So I think, yeah, you can actually put 200 volts into that particular unit, which is why I got it. I think it's a 60. Is it a 60 amp? Yep, it's a 60 amp charge controller as well. What do I think of it? It's okay. Harder to program than the maximum solar ones, which are here. And these readouts on these ones are a lot easier to understand. You've got the voltage, the ampage, the input, and the watts coming down from the panels. That's also a 60 amp one as well. I think it's 150 volts, that one, input, and that's 200 volts. But yeah, they're they're okay, but they don't give the readout the same. The LED display is very hard to read. It's hardly any. Well, it's okay in this kind of light, but it's all right. It's just harder to program. If I was to say really, I'd probably prefer the Maximum Solar ones in terms of programming and just looking at general readout. But yeah, they're okay. They both do the job, and haven't been any issues at all. Yeah, so if you need anything from me in terms of links or whatever, I can send that to you. And yeah, that's really it on the update. I don't think there's anything else to say. It's still running everything in the house okay, and this inverter's been going for the whole year. That fan has been going, hasn't stopped. It's ceaselessly on. The LED display's been on all that time. That's a pretty well built bit of kit, that inverter. Very, very pleased with it. Never really felt it get warm at all, but then again, it's overrated 50% more power than what I really need most of the time. So I guess that's the big lesson, isn't it? You know, making sure you've got lots of headroom, both in your cables and what they can take in terms of amperage, both in your charge controllers, all the bits of kit that you do. Just add lots and lots of headroom in, you know, so you're not going to get any weak areas within the system. I think that's one of the big things I've learned over the years, is to make sure that headroom's there. Unless of course you're talking about breakers and trip switches, which obviously you need to protect your system, needs to be near the max point of your system. It needs to be tripping, and that's why the Victron kit is so good, because it's fully programmable in that way. Not that I'm a salesman for Victron, and I think they're very expensive for what they are, but obviously they spend a lot of money on marketing. But they do produce good electronics and good kit, and it all works and is beta tested, and that's what you're paying for. And I'm very, very pleased with the stuff that I've got off them. But I wouldn't have been able to afford to buy all Victron stuff. It's just too expensive for my particular project. But anyway, yeah, so that's the kind of February 2020 update. Not really much to report. There's been no issues whatsoever. So literally the system's been running autonomously on its own for a year, and I haven't touched it, and it's been fantastic. And I shall do another update over the summer, see how we're going, and hopefully we'll get some more panels put in the summer, hopefully, or possibly next year. I'll upgrade the panels again, and then put another charge controller in and get another load of Tesla modules, or potentially LiFePO 4, which I'm now selling as well. So bit of a plug, if anybody's after any 12 volt, 24 volt, 48 volt LiFePO 4 batteries. I've got a really good contact for making them now, and they're putting really good BMS systems in to my spec. And if anyone wants any information on those, just email me at offgridsolaruk@gmail.com, and I'll look into it for you. Okie dokie. Well, bye for now, and good luck with all your systems out there. Take care.